So Samsung may have just leaked the entire S26 lineup, and it confirms two redesign changes we've been hearing about for months. But here's the interesting part. The S26 series is getting a feature straight from the iPhone, and it's not the one you think. And finally, Samsung just dropped the first teaser for the Exynos 2600, but the real surprise isn't about performance. Let's get into it. First off, we have our first official look at the entire S26 family straight from Samsung. Thanks to the hidden renders in One UI 8.5, we now know what Samsung is doing with the design this year. All three variants, the S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra, are getting a dedicated camera island with 3 circular cutouts. The last time Samsung used something like this was the S21 series, before switching to floating rings. And honestly, this move lines up with the rest of the industry. Apple uses a camera island, Google uses one, most Android flagships do as well. Samsung was the only one holding out. The downside is the bump is thicker now, so expect more wobble on a flat surface. Now here's what stands out. The S26 Ultra doesn't look dramatically different from the S26 and S26 Plus anymore. Same rounded corners, same overall shape, just bigger with 2 extra cutouts. S24 Ultra fans will miss the sharper, note-style design. Others will prefer the softer corners because they help with comfort. So, which one do you prefer? Let me know below. Moving on, the stock wallpapers for the S26 series have leaked, and they reveal more than just the colors. Samsung is sticking to the usual black, gray, and silver shades, plus the purple, green, and orange options we've seen before. This year, purple is the main Ultra color, so expect Samsung to push that in marketing. Ice Universe also mentioned the black variant will have a matching black frame, but it's unclear whether all colors will get matching frames. Either way, Samsung isn't using Apple's new orange LED color this time. What they are doing, though, is taking something straight from iOS, and you can see it in the wallpapers through that floating 3DS. And that's because the S26 series is getting an iOS-style parallax effect. With One UI 8.5, Samsung is adding system-level 3D tilt wallpapers that subtly shift as you move the phone. The only question is battery life, because these effects do use more power. We'll have to wait and see how well Samsung optimized it. Now moving on to the Exynos 2600, Samsung just released the first teaser, and the message is pretty surprising. The teaser even starts with the line, "In silence we listened." That's Samsung acknowledging years of criticism about Exynos performance. They say they rebuilt the chip at the core and optimized it across every layer, and it's also the first smartphone chip on a 2nm process. Early benchmarks do show a big jump this year. But here's the surprise, and it's not about performance. We've been hearing that Samsung would use the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 inside the S26 Ultra globally, while the S26 and S26 Plus would get the Exynos 2600 in most markets outside the US and China. But according to a new report, Samsung may actually use the Exynos 2600 across the entire S26 lineup, including the Ultra, but only in Korea. Every other market would get Snapdragon only. And the reasoning makes sense. Samsung and Qualcomm reportedly have an agreement requiring Snapdragon to be used in around 75% of S26 units. And Exynos yield is still low, since only 1 out of every 2 chips is usable. So, if this report is true, most markets will get Snapdragon only with no split chip situation. If Exynos performs well in Korea and yields improve, Samsung could scale it up next year for the S27 series or even the foldables. Speaking of foldables, the Z Fold 8 is getting 2 major upgrades we have been asking for years. Click right here to check it out. This is Techtics, and I'll see you there.